Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. Thanks for joining me. I want to bring you said information pertaining to unsolved deaths and missing persons out of California City, California. As most of you know, there are two small African-American boys that are missing, 3 and 4-year-olds, out of this said city. There has been no identification of where the children can be located. No indication to us that they are alive or deceased. Are there any suspects? I do not know, because we have not got any of that information from said officials. But as I said, I will bring you that information when I get it. But I want to talk about people who have not been found, and unsolved cases, murder cases in California City, California. As most of you know, I did an interview with Miss Cherie Smith out of California. Her daughter, Desiree Thompson, has been missing for 9 years, January 7th, 2012. The anniversary was this week. Naturally, she's still in mourning of her child. She would like to give her child an appropriate burial, and she's still heartbroken. And with this woman's disappearance, 4 children were left without a mother. So I'm going to bring you said information out of California. And know that currently in the U.S., there are 250,000 unsolved murders currently on the book in this country. If you need verification for the storyline, please log on to Mojave Desert News. This story was updated October 17th, 2019 and published on October 13th, 2019. NBC's Dateline News Magazine show featured the 8 unsolved cases in California City on a broadcast that aired recently. The story includes interviews with then California City Police Sergeant Tim O'Quinn, who was recently promoted to interim police chief upon the retirement of Chief Eric Hurtado. The video, 8 Cold Cases, One Small Town, also shows police investigating a tip on a possible body at the bottom of a mine shaft in Randsburg. Philip Pete Hammond has been missing since July of 2017. Deveree Schiller was found strangled to death in Central Park on June 26, 2016. Robert Austin Tharp has been missing since July 5, 2014. Demetri Thomas was the victim of a drive-by shooting in 2014. Former California City Planning Commissioner Charles Piper was murdered in his home during what police believe was a home invasion robbery in 2012. And Desiree Thompson has been missing since January 2012. Matthew Leninger, was killed as he slept in a bed at his girlfriend's house in 2010, and Dr. Burdette Thorbus was murdered in 2001 in what police believe was a botched burglary. There is a $25,000 reward for information leading to arrest and conviction on each case. Debbie Phones, mother of Schiller, said she is pleased to see the case is getting more attention. I can assure you the evidence is definitely there, she said. Something will happen, and very likely sooner than later. It may not be a direct result of the above video, but as a result of good police work. Phones has also started a GoFundMe page to fund a memorial for the 8 victims at Central Park. The project is called For Our 8, Boo's Oasis. Boo was one of the nicknames Phones had for her daughter, and can be found on a GoFundMe page.com. F1QGJRS7U2 lowercase 0. After almost 3 years of praying for an arrest, I got permission from the city to carry out my tribute for our 8, said Phones. I contacted the best contractor in our area to help make my dream a reality. It's just so happened that the best contractor is also the brother of missing person Philip Pete Hammond, and that's how we came to this place and this moment. This campaign is also about raising the money to make this dream a reality. It's all about honoring our 8. I need to make this happen, not just for my baby girl, but for all the loved ones still waiting for closure. Our 8 matter, and I need them to know that. The Kern County Secret Witness line is 661-322-4040. And it says O'Quinn can be reached at 661-752-3074. I don't know if this said person is still working for the department, but you also can go to Dateline to pull up the said information to this documentary about the 8, our 8. But as I state, this is an older article from October 17, 2019, updated. I bring you the said information because, as I state, 250,000 people are currently been murdered in this country, and those cases are unsolved. And this police department in California City is small. There's been some rhetoric about people not getting the justice they deserve, those who are deceased and missing. So I'm bringing this attention to my YouTube viewers and America. The California City, you have a few people who have not been located and their deaths have not been solved, and people want answers. Their family members want answers. The community wants answers. And now you have currently 2 small children who have gone missing out of your said city, allegedly. Yeah, I'm going to say that. And so people want answers. So you all have a newer chief, Mr. Johnny Walker, and we're hoping that Mr. Walker will do right by the people of the said city and help them get the answers they need. And I feel like this: if you do have a small department, as you say, you don't have adequate staff or detectives, please seek other agencies and other police departments to help aid you in your cold case files. That is the common sense thing to do. And I'm saying that because it doesn't make any sense to have a small town with several unsolved deaths and several missing people. I don't care if it's 5 missing people, 5 unsolved deaths, if it's 15. Nonetheless, these missing people, deceased people, they deserve justice. They deserve justice. And they need to get it. And some people do not feel like this California City Police Department has aided them in their help with information and tracking down suspects such as Miss Cherise Smith out of California, whose daughter Desiree Thompson is still currently missing. And as she said in the video earlier this week in an interview, she feels like Mr. Gibson, Edward Gibson, who was a suspect, there is a said article on him and they were looking for him. She feels like California City dropped the ball. They did not actively search for him, to contact him, to talk to him, to bring him in for questioning. They let him go under the radar. They let him walk, basically. So we're asking you, California City Police Department, why would you let a suspect walk the earth on parole and not bring him in for questioning, not violate him? Because don't you think that was a reason to bring him in to talk to him? Hey, this girl's missing. No one's heard from her. Her mother hasn't heard from her. The last time the mom heard from her was 8:30 p.m. the night before. And you missing as well because you knew you were guilty, Mr. Edward Gibson. You knew you had harmed Miss Thompson, your wife. So you went on the low, the run, hiatus, because you harmed her, killed her. And that woman has not been discovered, dead or alive. Desiree Thompson, Edward Gibson, her husband at that time, was a suspect. And there was a said article with them stating that they were looking for him. But yet the mother of Miss Thompson states he walked free. And they allowed him to walk free on parole, knowing he was a suspect in this woman's disappearance. And law officials did nothing. And now we have these other cases of missing people and unsolved murders. And the relatives and the people of this community, they want answers. And those of us who do care about preservation of life, we care too. Any of you have any information pertaining to any of these cases that I just mentioned, please call the local authorities or FBI to give them the said information. If you don't feel comfortable talking in person, then call the tip line. But give some information on the unsolved murders of these said people, the missing people, and also the 2 children currently missing out of California City, California. You all are going to have to step up. And you can't use the excuse that you're a small department, you don't have adequate staff, because, as I just said, Desiree Thompson's been missing since 2012, and this week was her anniversary of 9 years being missing. So don't you think by now you should have hired some people to work your cold case files? It's only right. Can't keep making excuses. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Join me later for a live, and it will be on the topic of the 2 children currently missing out of California City, California. Thanks for listening. Good night.